So why all the anger and uprising at the moment? Well, whenever you have suppression, there is a pushing against that suppression. Innately, we all want to feel free. And if anyone suppresses people, the people eventually get over that fear, and because the suppression is still valid, you have the beginning of an uprising. You can only suppress people by taking away their power and their freedom. And the most effective way of doing this is by fear. China has carried this out effectively for many years. It's their tool for controlling billions of people. And if anyone protests publicly, they're dealt with in a way that either threatens their families or they disappear. Communist regimes have used propaganda as a tool to keep their own people controlled. But I'm not here to talk about politics or who's to blame. I want to talk about why you're feeling the way you are and what you can do about it. We all have an internal emotional scale. We call it a mood barometer. It was something you were born with, and it helps you to understand both where you're going and why things happen in your life the way they do. Even though we're all born with this mood barometer, very few people know how to use it, least of all those in power and governments, which is probably a good thing. Your mood barometer is internal communication between you and your higher self. Now, you can call your higher self anything you'd like, such as Source, Universe, God, Jehovah, whatever suits you. But this communication is there to connect you with your broader perspective. When you are in the thick of a situation, it's difficult to find a way through, just as if you were in a forest. Finding a path ahead would be difficult. But if you were to use a drone in that forest and take a larger perspective of where you're standing, the path through that forest will be clear. That's what your higher self does. It gives you a broader perspective of where you're standing. The way it communicates that perspective is by your mood. When you feel great, you're aligned with your higher self. That's the place where you can see what's going on. Inspiration is prominent and clarity walks beside you. It's the path of your dreams and it feels really great. In fact, you'll say things like, things are just working out for me, and I was in the right place at the right time, or I was lucky. That's the verbiage of someone who is walking in unison with their higher or broader perspective. And we all have one, and we all do that at times. Another way it communicates is when you're feeling depressed or afraid. You tend to give your power away and allow others to tell you what to do. You don't have a clear path and can't see really what's going on right in front of you. You think you no longer have control in your life. This is the mood that many oppressive regimes would like to have you stand in. Why? Because you're much easier to control this way. You don't fight back and you absorb all the information you hear as being the truth. Your verbiage would be something like, oh, I better not do that, or look out of your court, or that's not the right thing to do, or they'll get into trouble doing that, or it's hurting other people. And it feels horrible. It feels powerless because it is. You've given your power away for free. This is what we call suppression. And it's the opposite to being aligned with the higher self, so it feels lousy. That's the communication of your higher self. It says, the better your mood, the closer you are to your dreams, which is connection to your higher self. The worse you feel, the further you are from connection with your higher self. However, there aren't only two moods, feeling great and feeling depressed. There are many more in between. These are the stepping stones from one end of the scale to the other. It's very unlikely that you'll go from feeling suppressed and agitated to feeling elated in one foul swoop, but it is likely that you'll take the stepping stones of insecurity and guilt, then revenge and then anger. So now you have a chemical hot pot. There are many who have been depressed and are finding themselves in a mood of insecurity. Others who have moved to revenge and wanting to get theirs back at someone. Then there are those who have moved to anger and are lashing out on social media and even shooting people, lashing out at those who seem to pose a threat. Still, others are discouraged, and many who are feeling blame towards a person or a group or a government. It may seem the world is out of control, but this will always happen after any huge group suppression. The reason is that people are taking their power back. Even anger is a more powerful space than insecurity. Blame is a more powerful space than anger. But I want you to understand this because it's a normal progression of taking your own power back after you've given it away. It's not a wrong mood to be standing in, but you just don't want to hang around there for long because neither insecurity, anger, nor blame are good places to live your life from. If you're feeling any of these moods, then you can keep listening to your mood barometer and move yourself further and further up the track until you become even disappointed and frustrated, pessimistic, bored, hopeful, optimistic. Each feels a little better than the last. And when you get to feeling optimistic, then you're really close to feeling great. Your mood barometer will indicate how close you are by how you feel. When your thoughts take a turn to blame or anger, you'll feel worse. And when they're hopeful and optimistic, you'll feel better and better. You were born with this connection, with your inner mood barometer. You just need to understand how to read it. You also have a map, a mood map. It guides you those increments towards feeling connected and great. If you'd like a copy of your mood barometer and a mood map, just click the link below.